morning, everybody. Welcome to Shape Your Buddha with Yoga Within. My name's Dani. So this morning, you will need a foam block or something that you can use for in between the legs. A blanket is just fine. If you do have something that's a little bit more substantial, we will be pressing into it. That would be good. But if all you have is a blanket, or if you don't have anything at all, don't worry about it. You can do all the stuff that we're going to do with it without it. We are also going to do some things standing with balance. And if you know that today's maybe a day where you need a little extra support or just you're not feeling the balance stuff today, you may want to either have a chair at the back of the couch or a wall nearby just for some extra needed support. And with all of that said, find your way onto your back. Make sure that that block is close by as you come onto your onto your back. Mine is right on my left-hand side within reach, just by my knees, kind of. So just so you have kind of an idea of how close that should be. And then once you've set yourself up, so have your props, found your way onto your back, just move into a position that's comfortable for you. So knees bent, legs straight. If you're not sure, try both. And then just allow the eyes to gently close and soften. Noticing where your hands are resting. And if it's comfortable for you to move your hands onto the lower belly, kind of that space right in between your hip bones, just allow your hands to gently rest there. Allow the body to begin to relax. Feeling the toes gently dropping out to the sides, the legs are straight. Feeling those hip flexors soften. The belly is relaxed. Shoulders and chest feel open and supported by the ground beneath you. The arms are soft. Neck and shoulders are relaxed. As you feel supported by the ground beneath you, bring your focus to your breath, not judging, just noticing where that breath is in your body today. As you breathe in and out, notice the length of your inhalation and exhalations. Does the breath feel easy? Maybe like me, you're fighting a bit of allergy season, so notice, are you breathing through the mouth, through the nose? And then slowly move that breath down the body. As you inhale, breathing into your hands in that low belly area. Really low. And as you exhale, allow the belly to soften and relax towards the spine. And again, as you inhale, really feel that breath moving down. Feeling that low belly expand, not pushing, it's just a light expansion. And as you exhale, it's a light drawing in towards the spine. Continuing with that breath on your own for a few more rounds. As you inhaling, feeling that belly expanding out. And really important that you're not over pushing or extending. It's just a nice, gentle, natural opening and lifting through that belly. And as you exhale, same idea. As you release that air, allow the belly to really soften and gently fall towards the spine, not creating too much of a suction. Whole different breath, but not for now. And 2 more times, really breathe in, expanding out through through the belly, through the rib cage. And as you exhale, letting anything you don't need to hang on to today, let it go. Keep that breath going. Just plant the seed in your mind for the rest of the practice, bringing that awareness into that low belly area. Next breath. Just allow that breath to settle and relax in your body. And if it's comfortable for you to stretch those legs out along the mat if they aren't already, stretch the legs out, flex the feet so the toes point up to the ceiling. Reach those arms all the way up above the head to wherever that is comfortable for you and your arms feel supported. Might be a V position, might be straight up. Take a breath in and then tighten every muscle in your body as tight as you possibly can. And exhale, release. Do that 2 more times, tightening every muscle in your body, really tighten. Those glutes included, the muscles in your face. Exhale, relax. Last time, tight, tight, tight. Everything, and exhale, completely relax. Bending the knees, placing your foot soles down on the ground. Take your hands, they can stay up above the head if that's comfortable for you, but if you want to just slide them down so the palms are facing up towards the ceiling, and just start to drop the knees from side to side. Just start with the knees a couple times to each side, and then if it's comfortable to add the head in, add your gaze going the opposite direction of the knees, dropping the head from side to side. And then notice, is it a day where you can move fast, or is maybe a little bit slower feeling good for you? And then one more time to each side. Pause when you get back up to center. Draw the knees in towards the chest, and then really just rock from side to side. So all the way over onto the left, all the way over onto the right. Really try to get the whole way across the body. And then pause when you come back to center. Hug that left knee in towards the chest, and then just start to bring some circles into that right hip. So if you can, extend that leg all the way out, draw it up and back in. Down, all the way back out to the side and in, and then do one more in this direction, and pause with the knee at center, and then go out the other way. So dropping the knee out to the side, extending it down, moving it back up. And then do 3 more on this in this direction. And as you're making these hip circles, just notice what's going on through the low back. It feels not so great in that low back to have that leg so low. Don't have the leg quite as low. And then pause when you get back to center. Just hug that knee in towards the chest, rock a little bit from side to side, and then switch over to the other side. So now hugging that right knee in towards the chest, and then again, starting with that leg, extending it down, bending that knee so it comes all the way out to the side, and then draw it back up to center. Extend the leg out, and then drawing it all the way out to the side and back up. 2 more times in this direction. Making sure that you're not really rocking from side to side. Really try to keep that movement isolated into that hip, and then pause and switch directions. You're dropping that knee out to the side or whatever direction you didn't just do. Do 4 more. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Draw that knee in towards the chest. Again, gentle rock from side to side. Just notice how that body's feeling. Take that right knee in towards your chest this time. Extend that left leg all the way out along the mat. Take your right hand to that left knee, or to that right hand to the left knee, and then extend those arms straight out from the shoulder, that arm that's left over. Take a breath in, and as you exhale, taking that knee across to the opposite side of the body and moving into a twist. So just noticing how that body's feeling today. So that knee may come to the ground across that right side of the body. It might not, just notice. And then notice what's happening with that extended arm. Can you draw down through the shoulders and just reach out through that hand? Breathe here. And then notice, does it feel better for your gaze to be straight up at the ceiling? Or could you go and look at that extended hand? Bring the knee all the way back up to center, coming out of that twist. Stretch your arms out, stretch your legs out, and just give everything a good shake. And then moving over to that other side. So drawing that other knee in towards the chest, opposite hand to knee. The other arm extends straight out from the shoulder. Take a breath in, and as you exhale, it's taking that knee across to the opposite side of the body. And that knee may come all the way down to the ground, and it might not. So just notice. And then noticing on this side. Are both shoulders down on the ground? And could you move to get both shoulders down on the ground? That might mean that knee has to come up a bit. That's totally fine. And then notice, is it a day where the gaze has to go straight up? Or you look at that extended arm. And then slowly, gaze comes back up to center, knee comes back up to center, legs and arms extend out, and then just give everything a good shake. Arms too. And then pause here. Grab that block, bend the knees, and then take that block and just place it in between the knees. So I have the short end facing towards my face, or straight along the torso, so long ways facing up towards the ceiling. But you might need something different depending on your knees. Take your hands and interlace them behind the head. Press into your feet and squeeze that block as if you're trying to get your knees to touch in between. And then just gently release that pressure. And again, press into that block like you're trying to break it in half. Really press. And then release. One more time. Press into that block. Squeeze, 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 and relax. And now press into the block somewhere in the middle of your max and your min. So just that gentle squeeze, or maybe if I were to come up and try to take your block from you, I couldn't get it out. But not so you're trying to push it in half again. And then just slowly adding some pelvic movement in. So tilting and pressing down through the pelvis. So allowing that low arch in the back to happen and then flattening it out. And do that a couple more times. And just noticing that movement in your low body, being aware of that low belly again. Notice, are you breathing as you do all this? And see if you can find that breath again. And then find that place where you feel like your spine is neutral, so you have a little bit of a curve, but you're not over pressing and it's not completely flat. Press out through the elbows, and as your hands are interlaced behind your head, think about pulling those hands apart and drawing the shoulder blades down the spine towards the tops of the hips. Now, as you do those actions, watching that the belly doesn't creep up and you don't overextend that arch through the low back. Again, draw that low back towards the floor, not flattening it, but just think towards and out through the elbows. Take a breath in here, and on your exhalation, could you lift your forehead up towards the ceiling? Drawing those elbows out. Keep those actions going. As if your elbows are touching either side of the room, and then lower the head back down. Relax the legs, and just a gentle wiggle. Keep the block there though, and then come back to center. So same thing, do that 5 more times. So coming up, 1, inhale, come down, 2, 3, 4, 5. On the 5th one, we're holding up, so lengthen through the top of the head. Chin gently moves towards the chest. Gaze stays straight up towards the ceiling, and those elbows move out to the side. See if you can come up a little bit higher, moving that chest up towards the ceiling. Keeping that neck nice and long, squeezing that block. Slowly lower down. Uncross your hands from behind your head. Take that block out, just hang on to it, just at the center of the chest. Move your feet really nice and wide apart and just let the knees drop side to side. And then pause here. Moving the feet so they're a little bit wider than mat width apart. Drop your right knee down and towards the center line of the body. Come back up, rolling open, and then drop that left knee down and towards the center line of the body. Opening it back up. And then one more time to each side. Dropping it in, coming back up, dropping in, coming back up. And we'll do it one more time so it's a nice odd 3 on each side. And then find your way back to center. Walk those feet back in. We'll repeat that exercise we just did one more time. So make sure you're comfortable, get that block there. Walk those feet so they're about hip width apart. Interlace those hands behind the head, and then draw out through the elbows, draw out through the chest, chin tucks in, and coming up on your exhalation. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Hold up. Draw those elbows out. Really think about squeezing that block. Use those lower abdominals to hold you up. Breathing. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Lower down. Uncross those hands from behind your head. Keep that block in between the knees, but allow that pressure to relax as you draw the knees up and towards the chest and just rock from side to side. Taking those arms straight out to the side again, turn your palms so they're facing the floor, and then move your hands down about a few inches lower than your shoulders. Point the toes and start to move the knees away from the chest as you bring the toes towards the floor. Move really nice and slow. There'll be a point, maybe, hopefully, where you start to feel that your lower abdominals kick in. And that low back maybe wants to arch or it wants to completely flatten out along the ground. I can't tell you which it will be for you and your body. Pause there and then just correct that low back and allow that natural arch to find its way back. So not that overarch or under arch, but that place in the middle. And then see if you can keep that neutral spine as you drop the toes down to the ground. Just let them touch and then draw those knees all the way back up and towards the chest. I'm moving a little faster this time, lowering those toes down to the ground and coming back up. Do that 8 more times together. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Pause, draw those knees in towards the chest. Keep that block there, and this time slowly start to drop the knees over to the right. So aim for those knees to be somewhere kind of in the center line of the body, so not drop away low so they're in line with the hips, and not up super high so they're hitting the shoulders, somewhere in the middle there. And then draw those knees back up to center, and then over to the other side. Back up to center, and one more time to each side, and then back to center. Draw those knees up and towards the chest, and then lowering those toes again. We'll do that another 10 times, lowering those toes and drawing back up. So if you know that this didn't feel good for your low back, you can take those hands and place it underneath that sacrum area, and that may help. And you may just want to not lower your toes as far to the floor. And I think that was 7, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Draw those knees up and towards the chest. And then this time, slowly lowering those legs over to the right. Come back up to center and over to the other side. Back up to center. Really think about using those core muscles to draw those legs back up. Try not to use those hands. Those hands are just there for convenience and maybe a little bit of balance. Keep going side to side. We'll do 3 more to each side. 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, and then bring those knees back up to center. Put those feet down on the ground. Keep that block there. Move the hands so they're right down by the side of the hips, and moving up into a hip lift. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Hold up in this hip lift, keeping that whole spine nice and long. Really think about drawing out through the shoulder blades. So it's a little bit different than a bridge pose. This is more Keeping everything straight from the back of the head all the way to those tailbones. No back bend here. Moving those shoulder blades apart, and then slowly squeezing that block, draw those sit bones down to the ground. Draw the knees up and towards the chest. Take that block, set it off to the side. Try not to throw it, we will use it later. And then just rock side to side. And again, moving into those hip circles, just two on each side, in each direction. Same thing that we did at the beginning of class. Or if you have a way that you need to release your hips that is nicer for you this morning, then do that. And then bring both knees in towards the chest. Hug that right knee in towards the chest and extend that left leg out. And then switch sides. And switch. And keep switching, really hugging that knee in, drawing it in. Creating a little bit of pressure and keep moving a little bit faster. And a little faster. And then could you pause with the right knee in at the chest. And then flex both feet, point both feet. Flex, point, and then move to where it felt better for you. And then take your hands and extend them straight out from the shoulders. You decide palms up or down, whatever feels best for you. Okay? And now that your hands are down, you may need to change the position of your feet. That's fine. And then notice, could you lift that left leg up towards the ceiling? And then lower it down. Left leg up, lower it down. Up, down. Okay. Breathing. And two more. And then hold down. And if you can get that heel a couple inches off the ground, see if you can lift that heel a couple inches off the ground on that left side. Interlace your hands behind your head, drawing out through those elbows, that same idea that we did that with the block in between the legs. Take a breath in, and on your exhalation, lifting the chest up towards the ceiling. So not towards the knee, it's just a little lift up. Breathe here. Pressing through the feet. Think about moving the inner thighs towards each other so that right knee draws in towards the central line of the body. Breathe. Lifting up. And exhale. Lower that head down. Lower that left leg down. Extend that right leg out along the mat. Extend the arms up above the head. And then tighten every muscle in your body as tight as you possibly can. And then relax. And switching sides. So drawing that left knee this time, or the leg you didn't just start with, in towards the chest. Drawing that knee in, and then taking that right leg and extending it straight up towards the ceiling. And then lowering it down. And extend up, lower down, extend up. And then watch, as the leg goes up and down, do you get a little bit of a lift through the low back? See if you can only lift that leg to the point where you're not getting any lift at all through that low back. Might mean that that knee bends on that extended leg slightly. That's okay. Breathe. Keep going. And then can you pause and hold that right leg out, extending it straight out from the hip. If you can have that heel a couple inches off the ground, have that heel a couple inches off the ground. Interlace your hands behind your head. Draw those elbows out towards the side. Take a breath in, and on your exhalation, lifting that chest, that head straight up towards the ceiling, keeping the spine really nice and long. Draw it in. Breathe. And again, thinking about squeezing those legs towards each other. That left knee moving towards the center line of the body. Breathe. Lift up. 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 Extend out through the top of the head. Breathe. And exhale, lower the head down, lower that left leg down, extend everything out, and then just shake it out from the hips if you can. Last one on our backs, guys. So I promise we'll get up and move for real this time. But draw those knees up and towards the chest. Extend both legs up towards the ceiling, and then draw them back in. Extend up, draw down, and then extend up, draw down. One more time, straight up towards the ceiling, bring them in. This time, as you extend the legs out, aim slightly away from straight up. So just angling those feet just a little bit. Draw those knees in towards the chest. And same angle. Extend those legs out. And then one more. Out and in. And then extending those legs out this time. Drop those legs so they feel like they're about halfway between what's straight up towards the ceiling and the ground for you. Okay? Now draw those knees back in. We'll repeat that 3 more times. 1, 2, 3. Down. Now, just slightly above where it feels like your legs are straight out along the floor. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Draw those knees in towards the chest. So if you know that this is causing pain or isn't feeling good for your low back, go to the angle that felt the best for you. Otherwise, a couple inches away from the ground, press into the hands, extend those legs straight out. So just a few inches away from the floor, draw those knees back in. And 2, 3, and 4. Draw those knees in. We'll do the reverse, coming all the way back up, and then we'll do one more coming down. I will count. If you need to take any breaks, we'll do 4 in each position. If you need to stay where you need to stay, don't feel that you have to move to a position that's uncomfortable. All right, let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Moving up. 1, 2, 3, 4. Halfway. 1, 2, 3, 4. Up and 1, 2, 3, 4. And all the way up. 1, 2, 3, 4. And 4 more up. 1, 2, 3, 4. And moving down. 1, 2, 3, 4. Halfway. 1, 2, 3, 4. Lower. 1, 2, 3, 4. All the way down. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Draw those knees in towards the chest. Wrap those hands around the shins. Move those knees apart so the knees are coming towards those armpits. And then just really rock from side to side, all the way over. And then draw those knees in towards the chest. Bring the forehead up towards the knees, making yourself as tiny as you possibly can. Maybe it's a day where you're like, yeah, spinal rocks are great. Maybe it's a day where you're like, I don't like spinal rocks. So you decide what you need. If you can do a few spinal rocks, do a few. And then just find your way into a comfortable seated position. I feel so awkward talking to you guys in the spinal rocks. And then just shift around, adjust anything that you might need to. Again, making sure that that block hasn't been tossed across the room. And then just rock from side to side. And then making some circles with the spine, go one way, and then go the other way. And then finding your way back up to center. Lifting those arms all the way up above the head. Make nice tight fists. And then exhale, let it go. And nice tight fists. Up. And then exhale, let it go. Give yourself a nice big hug. And then just shake it out side to side. And then open up again. And then give yourself a hug on the other side. And then open up. Take your hands down by your side. Pick your favorite foot to have in front first. Arms reach forward. And then stand up without using those hands. And then sit back down. And then come back up. And up. And up. And last one on this side. Down. And up. And down. And then switch legs. Up. Down. Noticing your breath. Are you holding your breath? Are you gritting your teeth? 2 more. And up. Last one. And then this time staying standing. And then walk your legs out just a little bit. And then step those feet so they're sort of close together. You decide if totally together or a little bit apart feels better for your low back. Then just rock from the toes to the heels. And then come up onto the toes. So from the side, like this. Drop down. Lift up. Drop down. Up, down, down. And see if you can keep going. And then take those arms out to the side. And then make nice tight fists with the hands. Keep going with those feet. And then open, close. Breathe. And then see if you can move those hands a little faster. It's a little bit of a brain exercise because your feet aren't moving any faster. And then can you move those arms forward? Keep those feet going. And then move those arms up. Keep those hands going. And then lower those arms. Keep those hands going. Keep those feet going. And then move forward. And then up. And hold up. But keep the legs going. And 3, 2, 1. Keep the hands going, but allow the feet to stop. Really keep those hands going. Notice the sensation through the legs. Draw the shoulders down out of the ears. Keep those hands going. Becoming aware of how the fingers are feeling. And being aware of if you're moving your thumbs. And then pause. Hold everything up. And then let those arms completely go. Swinging them back and forth. Now bringing your hands back to your hips. Just bringing your weight over to one side and then making circles with one ankle. Setting it down and moving over to the other side. Making sure you go both ways. And then put that leg down. And then just walking those feet out a bit. Again, letting those feet settle in and then coming up onto the toes. Coming up to stay if you can. Could you walk all the way from one end of your mat and then go backwards to the other end? Making sure that you're not going to trip on anything. And then walk forwards. And then walk back. And then walk to the center of your mat. And we'll do 10 more calf raises. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Coming up to the top of your mat. Take a nice big deep breath in. We'll do one sun salutation to even out. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lengthen that spine. Exhale, take those hands down to the ground. Step back with one foot, back with the other foot. Elbows hug the sides. Knees can drop down or they can stay straight. You decide what feels good in your body today. Elbows bend, lowering down. Toes roll to the tops of the feet, coming into upward dog. And then toes roll back, coming into downward dog. Breathe here. Then jump, walk, step, crawl the feet towards the hands, forward fold. Inhale, curling on up, lift the arms, gaze, exhale, lower down. Okay, so go and grab that block, and you're gonna wanna put that block quite high up to start, and we'll work with it a bit, so if it's in the wrong position for you, don't be afraid to adjust it. Okay? Hands come to your hips. Now, sink back and down. And then come back up. I'm going to turn sideways so you can actually see this is a terrible shirt to wear. Lift up nice and tall. Hands to those hips. Stick them way, way back. And then squeeze that block as you come up. Lower down. And then come back up. Now, slide your block down a bit. Not so it's right on the knees because you don't want to get that rolling in action. But just so it's kind of right above those knees. Take a breath in here. And then sink back and down, and then press into the block, come up. Now, where felt better for the block position in your body, and then move that block there. And if it's somewhere in between, that high, 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 and that low, 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 that's okay too. Just play with it in your body. Now that you've had that block where you feel that you need it today, squeeze it. Really think about pressing those legs together and cracking that block in half. And if it's wooden, really good luck. And then relax. And then again, press into the feet, Squeeze that block, really can go drawing up through the base of the belly, all through the way through the top of the head. Keeping that engagement, now go back, squat, and draw up. And again, we'll do 8 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This time, hold down. So on that 8th one, you're really dropping those sit bones back and down. Squeeze that block. Arms come down and to the hips. Rolling those shoulders forward and then rolling them open and back. And again, forward, open and back. Forward, open and back. Draw those sit bones down. Squeeze that block. Could you drop a little lower? Reach those arms out. Come all the way up to standing. And relax the legs a little bit, but don't take that block out. So shake it out the best you can if that block's still there. We'll do that one more time all together. So squeeze that block. Press into the feet, imagining drawing the arches of the feet all the way up. Sit back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Hold down. Drop those sit bones. Really think about getting them back, squeezing that block, using those arms. Breathing. Draw the shoulder blades down out of the ears. You decide, arms forward or on your hips. What feels better for you today? Breathing. 3, 2, drop a little lower. 1, come all the way up. Lift up through your spine, and then on your exhalation, draw the shoulders down and bending to the right. Inhale, come up, and all the way over to the left. All the way back up. Lower the arms down. Take that block out, finally. Set it down just in front of you. Step the feet just a little wider apart, so about hip width apart. Inhale, lift those arms all the way up. Exhale, forward fold. Take your hands to that block in front of you, and then you decide maybe this block offers nothing in through your forward fold, or maybe you need to move it a little further away from you. So you get a little bit of more of a stretch through that middle of the back and that spine. Notice what feels better for you. Close in. Maybe you can rest your head on it. Where are you today? Breathe. Inhale, coming up to a nice flat back. Take those hands to the hips if they aren't already there, and then slowly lifting up. Taking that block this time, putting it in between the hands, step the feet together, and then step back with the right foot. And then step up, and then step back with the other foot. Come on. And then press into that block with the hands. Keep alternating. Just notice what's going on through your hips today. And then see if you can speed that movement up. Back, up, back, up. You do not have to pivot. I'm just showing so you can see that the leg stays straight. It doesn't bend. We'll do those ones in just a sec. Breathe. Press into those hips. And now step back, bend the knee. Come on. Lift the arms. Come back. Up. Up. Back. Breathe. Good job, guys. Really watching that balance. And then pause, coming up to center. Coming back. Take that block down. Don't throw it. Set it off to the side and just shake out the hands. Last thing before we move into our closing stretches, shift your weight over to that right foot. Bring the left toes to the ground. Lifting up nice and tall through the chest. Could you bring that knee straight up? And then you decide, is it a day where you just draw that knee up and down? Or could you keep the knee still and come up onto the heels and lower down. Up, down. Try for 3 more. 2, 3, last one. Up and down. Lower that leg, shake it out, and then move over to the other side. So if your balance is like mine today, where it's a little special, just you might need the wall or the chair there, and you decide here, lifting up or down, or could you lift up onto the toes of those right foot, down. 1, 2, 3, and last one, 4, lower down. Lower those legs down, shake those legs out. One sun salutation to bring you down into a comfortable seated position. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale to flat back. Exhale, step back. You lower down however you can. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, downward dog. Knees drop down. And then cross those legs, finding your way into a comfortable seated position. Just bringing some movement into the spine. And making sure that you actually are comfortable. So cross-legged isn't comfortable. Hero's pose or stone pose is totally fine. Take a breath in, and then as you exhale, twisting over to one side. It's just a gentle guided twist. And then pausing, going over to the other side on your next exhalation. Down here. Rolling the shoulders. Chin tucks down and towards the chest. Just moving the chin along the collarbone a couple times. Lifting the head back up. And then from here, you can find your way into Shavasana if you are taking some time for Shavasana today, which I really would recommend doing. And if you're not, take some time just now to connect again with your breath. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. I hope you have a wonderful day. Namaste. Don't forget to hit subscribe to our channel, and we'll see you for the rest of the classes this week.